Alrighty, looks like we're live. Looks like we're good to go. Getting the announcements out there. All the usual places. Won't be able to see. Actually, let me pull up stream chat on my end while on my computer while I put out the announcements on my phone. Alrighty. So as I understand it, we're on 20 decks, 20 players. If we can get two more in the last like 13 minutes here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 20. So if we can get two more names in here, this will be the most played Brawl tournament. Alrighty. Sorry for the silence, folks. Just making sure I get all of my bases covered. Make sure things are sorted and folks know what the deal is. Made a little request in the GP chat itself that if folks have things they sort of have in like response about the decks they're on. For instance, if I like make an observation about their deck and they have a specific input about their deck building choices, I've had folks like ping me in the GP chat and sort of clarify some of their decisions, but I'm not able to check Discord to see the GP chat during the stream. I am on a one monitor setup, which is to say I'm on a laptop with no secondary monitor, and my way of viewing stream chat is my phone being next to me on my desk, open with the stream while we go. So I'll do what I can to acknowledge things as they come up in chat, but anything that comes up in the Discord, it's going to be hard for me to reply to. So if somebody does ping me, like misses that disclaimer, if somebody just gives me a heads up in the stream chat that there's stuff being said for like my attention to be directed to, I can pivot and look over there. Yeah, can't wait to read 700 unique cards. I'm glad I recorded my deck tech already because I learned a valuable lesson, which is to say, in the context of the deck tech, it was important to go through all of the individual card choices, in my mind, anyways. Um, and I'm comfortable saying this. We have 10 minutes until the timer runs out. I'm on an Ozon's Blessing deck, so my creatures with mana value 1 or 2 felt particularly important to run through. And at that point, I was like, well, there's a couple of 3 mana creatures, and there's like some things that care about 3 mana value, so I should talk about those too. And I just ended up like individually detailing every creature. And by the time I was done with all of that, I was like, well, I need this all to go in one take now, because if I have to re-record all of that, I'm gonna hate myself for it. So I locked in, got it all done, but it is a 52-minute video, almost to the second. It's 51 minutes and 59 seconds, if I recall correctly. So so that should be coming up tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Sunday. Though I have a much freer Saturday than I normally would have, so I might be able to get it up tomorrow. But yeah, Regice lives supreme. Not if I can help it. I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure that's not true. I don't get to say that. I played Titans in April. I played Titans in April. I've tinkered with Titans in this season. One of the decks that I really wanted to make work, very similar to the deck that I believe Zangy you brought last month, was the blue-green Golems deck, where it was just Regice and Regirock. One of the first decks that I started tinkering with in May was a Bant Golems deck. Both because I've been a believer in like golems with Journey Begins to find your golems, or with Contest Coordinator can find your golems. I'm not sure which one would necessarily work better, but it was actually my first attempt at a Revolt of the Palace deck was Bant Golems. Wait till I show off my Sharpied Commander where I just put Legendary on Regice. Yeah. Would be very impressive to pull off Singleton Titans. Listen, I've messed around with a couple of the Brawl commanders. I think Aonuma really struggles in this particular field, but I think Aonuma, if you can get Aonuma rolling, Aonuma Regice, like, you don't have to Ninjutsu Regice out for Aonuma to copy it. You just have to have in fact, I can just pull up Aonuma here. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, this looks great. This does, I believe, expose the fact that you can see a little tiny bit of my hotbar here. So let me fix that. That should be good. And let's go back here so we can make sure this looks right. I'm also just refresh just for the sake of, no, still 20. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to a different GP real quick just so I can make sure that this is centered properly. I think that's good. There we go. So yeah, Aonuma, I have liked with Regice. So I just don't think Aonuma's good in this field. Some folks know why I would say Aonuma's good with Regice, in spite of the fact that I don't think Aonuma is good in Brawl. Many people won't know what I'm talking about with that, though, and that is partly the gag, is that I get to keep those secrets and folks just don't get to know what I'm up to, what I'm scheming. So yeah, we got a couple minutes before submissions lock, and I know Scribble has been making an effort to be more punctual about decklist submissions closing, in part for the stream's sake, which I'm appreciative of, but I also don't want Scribble to like put pressure on themselves in any capacity, because I'm just grateful that Scribble does what they do for this community. Think White would help out the blue-green deck a bit. Mostly wanted to hit on Crufix's Judgment before it rotated out, because Crufix's Judgment hasn't gotten the love that I think it deserves. Just a super solid card. Aonuma is a sweet card, but has anti-synergy with most of the ninjas. Yeah, Aonuma, I really do feel that with Aonuma. I wish this card just felt a little bit better with ninjas. As for Krufix's Judgment, I'll be honest, this card has forever read to me as commander card. And I see what the idea is here for making it a more constructed, viable card. If you get Devotion of Blue being 3 or greater, this is draw 3, untap 3 lands. So it can be 2 mana, draw 3. Can be pretty nice. It just feels so clunky. I feel like this is just the wrong card for a Golems deck specifically. I feel like it really wants to be in like a Bant control deck. And unfortunately, Bant control, despite people's love for Ayeshi, and despite Ayeshi making top cut last month, I am still not a believer in Ayeshi whatsoever. Yeah, I wish I could be a believer in Ayeshi, but it's just not there. There is I want to say it was, so hold on, let's CI green, white, blue, type legendary, type creature, or type planeswalker, and then minus the like add-ons and addendums. Yeah, it was Asahai was like, I think if we had like a flicker or a tokens commander, I would love to play Asahai with it as like the clones commander. But the downside to Asahai is that it's rotated. she's not in the format right now. Draw 3, make 2 tapped lands to get the Blue Chronicle flashback online. Yeah, that's also fair. I don't know. I have not been in love with Blue Chronicle as a win con. It mills for a lot. I will not deny that in any capacity. I just don't love tapping out for 8 mana to mill someone for 81 and not have that instantly kill someone. And when the way you're backing that up is golems, one of the advantages of golems is that your anti-aggro plan is so good that you can play random anti-control stuff in the main deck, like Krufix's Judgment. That's fair. That's very fair. I will also say, biggest bummer of this month is that I could not for the life of me make Leo work. I wanted to make Leo work so bad because this is the last time we'll have a good chunk of the enchantment creatures that are currently in the field. But I truly have solidly landed on this is just a 3 mana 2/2 with Vigilance Ward 1 that cantrips on enter. Like the plan with this in the command zone is. Like, you just put it in play, draw a card, and then you flicker it and draw another card. But like, we don't have anything in white that rebuys this besides the one flow card. Oh god. Elder Tattooist. Elder Tattooist is really the only way to like rebuy it from the graveyard right now. And I mean, like, you get a tapped token that's a copy of it and then put Leo back in the command zone. So like that can be pretty nice, but it's just so mana intensive. But yeah, Leo was like my big hope that I could make something work. And I just could not. Despite my efforts. So I'm so sorry, Chip. There is no Leo deck in my roster right now. But maybe throughout the month, as we get closer to the end of the month, and folks just jam League to get promos, I might try and see if I can squeeze some promos into Leo, and or like some promoable cards into Leo just for the sake of trying to get across the finish line. Because I do think that like Leo on its own could just back up a like Bant game plan decently well. I just think that if you're going on a Bant game plan in Brawl, Severin's just better. Severin's so good. Severin is so good. Next year, Leo 3/3 base. Oh my god, imagine 3 mana 4/4 Leo. Oh, I would love that. I would play so much of that. You should be familiar with because I have said it pretty openly very often just how much I'm looking for a window to absolutely crack this card in half. Just finished moving. Can't wait to see what people are playing. Oh, congrats on the move, Full Switch. Oh, I see a ping on Discord. Is it what I think it is? It's a ping on the server. It's pairings. Alrighty. Oh, and I'm paired against Split Moon round one. That's not ominous at all. So let's pan back over here. That looks like a 20-player GP. So we're no longer waiting on decks. Let's get that out of here. And we have 20 decks to go through. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single card inclusion in every single deck because I have other things to do with my life besides just this stream for the next 5 months. And of course, I'm out here bad-mouthing ninjas, and here's the first deck, and it's ninjas. So... clearly, Crush is on a level I'm not ready for. How did Crush make it to 7 basics? What? Oh, Crush is on the like every dual land plan, huh? Every dual land, every evolving wilds. Got it. Understood. We are clear on that now. Man, I really should have looked at playing Protean Bows in my deck, but I did not. Whoops. Alrighty, so let's start off with Crush Castle's Green-Blue Ninjas, correctly identifying that Akihiko Wayfinder is what you want to be on instead of Tsubasa Shigane, because of course, as I mentioned in the patch notes video, right? What on earth is going on here that there are 7 basics? But you know, of course, Tsubasa Ninjutsu, not Commander Ninjutsu, so it doesn't work from the command zone. So Akihiko Wayfinder is going to be 1, a green, and a blue for a 3/2 human ninja with Ward 2, which I think is really the most important text on this card, in all honesty. Like this is a commander that gets to be more annoying to have to remove because you have to spend more mana to do so. Though granted, 3/2 stat line is a bit frail in some facets. And oh god, this is I was like, oh, what? Like, I was like, wait, is it only creatures and planeswalkers? No, the instance, sorcery, enchantment, and artifact are down here. Secrecy. Oh man, I wish Secrecy did not say if it wasn't cast, because that means that it doesn't work with commanders. Like most things that check for cast from hand don't work, do work with commanders, or like if it wasn't cast from your hand, they do work with commanders. Secrecy still doesn't work with your commander because it's just checking if the creature was cast at all. Man, I want this card to be good, but it does not ever look it. Anyways, so Akihiko, whenever one or more non-token creatures you control leave without dying, you create a 1/1 blue ninja with can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So, Skulking Ninjas, and the big idea here is that Akihiko gets you additional bodies on the board that are really good with all of your ninjutsu creatures, or at least I have to imagine that's like the primary idea. And the nice thing about Akihiko is also that it is a little bit of a like debuff to opposing exile removal. I have to imagine folks that are bringing white cards in some capacity are on some combination of Gone Pick and Seal Away, and oh god, what's the cycling one? Hold on, this is gonna bug me. Sealing Strike. There we go. Got there. Deck has 18 non-KDT, non-land cards. Understood. So let's kind of run through them real quick, see if there's anything that sticks out here. We're going to kind of just breeze through these again because we have other things going on. So that's a ninja, Aonuma Students is sweet. I'm a big fan of Yokinzen Pathfinder. I really like this card. This is, I think Yokinzen Pathfinder is one of the most important cards in the context of like Aonuma as the Brawl commander, or as just the commander in general. So Pathfinder here seems sweet. Glint Blade is okay, I guess. Spring Soarer is okay. Oh, this is not a KDT card. +1/+1 counter if a creature you controlled dealt combat damage to a player this turn with 1/1 drop. That's interesting. But it is just a Stormcrow with additional text. And sometimes Stormcrow's all you need for your ninjas. Masksmith makes sense. Mirage Model. Oh, that's sweet for ninjas. That's clever. Brutal Throat Crusher. You know, seeing Mirage Model, and this is something I'm gonna ring the bell on a couple times here. I'm just gonna like keep this pulled up. Where's the Tough Nut, Crush? Where's the Tough Nut? This casts your commander on 2. I love Tough Nut. This casts your commander on 2. This pays your ninjutsu costs. Lets you, like in worst case scenario, this fixes your mana so you don't have to run a bunch of tapped duels. I have been loving this card. You gotta get Tough Nut in there. Alrighty. Mirage Model, Brutal Throat Crusher, Delver, Shigane Clan Head is a really great card. Cognitive Combatant. You own from outside the game onto the battlefield. Does this function at all? Like, does your commander count as outside the game? I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure wish effects can't get your commander to your hand in normal commander. So I think this is just a 3/3 for 3 with Ninjutsu 5. I think this card is just a vanilla 3/3. Oh no. Crush, did you just type in ninja and then hit enter on everything? Or did you not know that this doesn't work in Commander, or is there something I'm missing? Yeah, you think combatant does nothing. All right. Another ninja, another ninja, another ninja, another ninja. This one's really good. I've been really impressed by Twilight Agent. Zangy sold me on this completely. I thought Twilight Agent was kind of mediocre, and then Zangy copied my Scotha with this back in May. And my heart sank into the depths of the earth. It was terrifying. so Twilight Agent's a really good card. Ribbon Dancer, Threadweaver Shinobi, Nimble Mentor, Kinscale Reckoner. That one's pretty good. Are there any ruins to take advantage of with Kinscale Reckoner? Because that's something I do want to try, at least like tinkering with a little bit before Uldun rotates in January. Nope. But yeah, Kinscale Reckoner good with ruins that have keywords. I just realized it puts a dragon without flying in play while being a dragon without flying. That's awkward. That's unfortunate. I was gonna say awkward, but like I can kind of see why. 2-mana clone is a 2-mana clone. That is so true. Yeah, Twilight Agent, really insane card. It's not on like the top of my list in any capacity for cards I would want to push into the Curator's Cube, in part because I think I'm hesitant to recommend any ninjutsu card for the Curator's Cube because I think it necessitates squeezing other ninjutsu cards in, just in terms of like tricks. But like even if there is just a one of ninjutsu card, I feel like Twilight Agent has to be the one in the Curator's Cube. Like, this card is so sweet for cube play, and I'd love to see it in that context. I'm just not sure if it's the card I would want to include for the next iteration of Curator's Cube. I still haven't seen what the next set's going to be, and that might impact my choices as well. Anyways, Reckoner, Shigane Troop Leader, that makes sense. Trench Commander can't be blocked unless the defending player pays 1. Can't attack you. Okay, that's cute. That's a cute way to slip your attackers through. Shigane Cyclone and the Shigane Elder. Yeah, we really are on every ninja go to town. Planeswalkers, Tsubasa Shigane, as mentioned, because it's a card with ninjutsu, but also Tsubasa is a really good ninja. Like, compare this to our other 3-mana blue-green ninja. So much more than Precognitive Combatant. Yeah, Tsubasa is sweet. Simul Genetic Artisan, I am a big fan of. I feel like this is going to be really hard to make it work in this particular deck, because like you're not making a ton of tokens, but I guess your commander makes tokens. You've got like Shigane Clan Head. I guess you've got like Notori Skyblade. Um, so like there's a couple things that are going to make tokens incidentally. Expert blade work. I have been very vocal on expert blade work, or at least I was very vocal in the set review that I think this card is deeply overrated. And I don't even think it was rated particularly highly by other people, but I still think it's overrated. Like I think this card is a trap. Because I think if you're interested in playing ninjutsu cards, why are you playing a card whose sole purpose is to cycle for the mana? Like all it does is it takes Tsubasa Shigane, for instance, and takes his ninjutsu cost from one green blue to green blue blue, discard a card, draw a card. That feels really awkward to me. I understand why it's not a higher discount, but boy, does it feel awkward. Assaulted by Shadows is a sweet card. Thunderous Avalanche just makes sense. There's two artifacts, one enchantment. Yeah, Thunderous Avalanche belongs here for sure. Eternal Echoes. Yeah, Flickers work with Akihiko. Yeah. Notably, Flickers work with Akihiko. Flickers do not work with Aonuma. Which is another reason why Akihiko might be a little better than Aonuma in the command zone, because Akihiko works with flickers comparative to Aonuma, which makes me kind of wish that like we had more enter triggers and we could play like jump in here. Fun fact: you can activate ninjutsu abilities after combat damage. Yes, that is correct. I know this because I have tinkered around briefly with ninjas in Commander, and I have had to teach a buddy of mine a lot of the ninjutsu rules because he had interest in building Yuriko, and then found out the hard way why a lot of people don't have a whole lot of interest in playing against Yuriko, because that card sure does kill people very quickly. Anyways, Krifix's Judgment, Zangi, you can celebrate. You got the representation. Walk Old Paths is sweet. Love unblockable spells. Secrecy, Urushi Shigane Heirloom is what Expert Blade Work wishes it was. And Cryptolabe is also very sweet. This also casts commanders. Hell yeah. You're finally here, Magma? We're still on the first deck. We got 19 more to go. I'm going to have to pick up the pace a bit. But yeah, so that is Akihiko Wayfinder, Crush Green Blue Ninjas. Let's see who's next. Plotty People's Charity Match, Karametra Life Harvester. Interesting. I was really down on Karametra over Lycaratos, in part because I feel like the degree to which Karametra has cards that support her is very small, whereas Lycaratos doesn't demand a whole lot of support. You can kind of just play good cards, and Lycaratos is another good card. So Karametra more like all in on the synergy, but Karametra is an indestructible enchantment, so there is a lot of value to be had there. So let's take a look here. 5 of each basic, a lot of duels. Time Worn Crags I love to see here. I think creature lands are going to be even more of a threat than normal, so having Time Worn Crags seems really important. Get the Path, the Temple, we get Stack Conviviplex, and I have to imagine that means Buffery Conservatory also here. Goru Goru and Satoru is really fun. Ninja's Commander, it's my favorite deck. I've messed around with Outlaws of Thunder Junction Satoru, actually, as my preferred Ninja's Commander. Just sort of throwing out a little fun fact about me with Cannon Magic. Anyways, Reaper Field makes sense. Milan makes sense. Seeker of New Horizons, that tracks. Burrow Clicker makes... I mean, Burrow Checker makes sense, although it is a bummer that this is a vigilant creature that gets a benefit from Karametra untapping it if it becomes tapped on your turn. 2 green decks in and still nutless. Yeah, no nut. What? Where's the nut? Where's Tough Nut? I can't believe no one likes the nut. It's such a shame. Charging Brightmare makes sense. Dryad of the Keen-Eyed makes sense. Male Daemon makes sense. Sagittar, yeah. Onomastic. For the first card that doesn't synergize with Karametra, this is unsurprising. Bacillo tracks. Elder Tattooist is clever. Tap for enchantment and or enchanted creatures. Pay a single white to activate Elder Tattooist, and then Karametra untaps them all. That's really clever. I really do think like that is something I think I was missing as far as making Karametra work. Hungry Blob's a very loud statement about the suspicion that there's going to be a lot of cheap artifacts and enchantments. Green decks have been castrated. My issue with Nut is that it falls off after casting your commander, and I don't think it's worth a card to cheat just out your commander one turn early. That's fair, and I will get to why I think there is some context where I think it's relevant when we get to my deck, because I'm pretty sure I'm the 7th in the list, and I know I'm on Nut. Though I will argue that even in that argument, the deck, a deck like Crushes, where there's so many ninjutsu costs in the deck, that deck really, really wants Tough Nut because it pays your ninjutsu costs as well as casting your commander. Yeah, Tattooist with Karametra is a really, really clever choice. And yeah, I see Magma kind of concurring with what I was saying there. So anyways, moving on, Hungry Blob feels like a very profound statement on a suspicion about the battle, about the field in this particular tournament. Bringer of Heliod's Light just makes sense. Chosen of Heliod just makes sense. Like Haratos, same. Survivors, same. Like, if you're going to run just a good stuff card, Survivors of the New World is like the good stuff card in green-white. This card is so good. This card is so good. Handmaiden just makes sense. Jikaru just makes sense. Vasilisa is kind of curious here, but I guess I can see what the point of it is. Like, it's just a good card. Just a, like, big stat bomb that could maybe gain you some life or like maybe put some counters on itself or something else. Yeah. Reasonable enough. 6/5 Kraken with hexproof, really good at wearing auras. So no arguments here. Same with Illustrious Shangfa, like, is just a good card. No real tangible arguments. Plasma Strike for early removal, Karametra's Judgment, I guess as like Edict primarily, or to clone auras, and then sometimes you get both, and sometimes you can blank a removal spell. Charity Match is the name of the deck, and it is, of course, here as well. To each creature lifelink, 8 fights up to one target creature you don't control. And I mean, yeah, like, there are plenty of things in your deck that, like, giving them lifelink seems really good with. Most importantly, Bacillo growing your other creatures suddenly makes giving those other creatures lifelink really relevant. So that's pretty sweet. Enchantments 11, not surprising on a Karametra deck. We've got Planned Obsolescence, Zakros Decree, Harmony with Nature. Planned Obsolescence in here with Shangfa also in the deck, I'm a big fan of. Harmony with Nature makes sense. Imperial Tour makes sense. Oh god, Imperial Tour is actually really clever here, because this finds Shangfa to do Planned Obsolescence as, like, -1 remove a thing turn after turn, while also finding, like, Haratos, or finding Bacillo. Or finding Melon. Like, there's 4 hits there, and I think all 4 of those hits are pretty good. So, great Imperial Tour suite here. Seal Away is good. Futurist Ideal is good. Gone Pickin's good. Sealing Strike. Well, hey, we have the Seal Away, Gone Pickin, Sealing Strike. We have the full suite here. So those all give Akihiko a 1/1. Fall of Tracks makes sense. International Development makes sense. Revolt of the Palace. Yeah, so this is a sweet deck. I was pessimistic about Karametra, but this seems pretty neat. The heavy density of tap lands worries me, but that's just going to be the case in a lot of situations. Catalysts. There are 53 permanents in this deck, and 51 have activated abilities. Dang, I'm impressed. I got up to 52 permanents in mine. It's an Amber deck. Catalysts playing Amber. Much cleaner mana base. 15 basics. With Mirage Island, that's cool. Temple of Origins, Primal Fisher, Windbeaten Stones, Torrid Path, Temple of Triumph, and Titan's Stairs. Yeah, I think if you're going to run lands that do enter tapped, like the creature land, the temple, and the Path are like the 3 that you really, really do still want in this format. Only 7 creatures is interesting. Calamity Cat, Milan, Dormant Camel, Toki, Ironback Tyke, Soothing Singer, and Seraform Dragon. Why did I think there was an L in that? Seraform Dragon's cool to see here. There is a nice synergy here of tap Calamity Cat, give Seraform Dragon haste, and then like untap Seraform Dragon and give the cat lifelink, or like activate the dragon and give it lifelink. I did also notice, and I perhaps missed this when Seraform Dragon was first pushed into the format, that this is just a 5-mana 4/3 flyer with lifelink, and pay 2 and a white. This gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This gets +1/+1 and untaps, so you can do it in combat to make it effectively have vigilance. That's pretty sweet. 6 Planeswalkers: Karina, Jericho, Crux, Cassia, Dutiful Wanderer, and Illustrious Shangfa. I think that's just about everyone, right? I feel like there's a mono red Planeswalker that's missing here, but I'm not confident in that. I'm pretty sure this might just be all of them. So yeah, like these are all good. I've yet to be amazed by Karina, but like the rest of these I know for a fact are good, and I know Karina can be good. Again, I have not been amazed by her so far. Tyranny of Tracks, Swift Approach, Rugged Endurance is sweet, and these are 5 of the 7 non-permanents in this deck. Just a casual deck with more equipment than creatures. Is that true? Oh yeah, there sure are a whole heaping bunch of equipment here. Interesting. We'll get there. So Tyranny of Tracks, Swift Approach, Rugged Endurance, Searing Grace, Center of Attention, and Igneous Visions. Wait, that's 6. Oh, right. 53 and 51 have activated abilities. Sorry, I got 51 permanents in my deck. Koyos. Yes, Koyos is a Planeswalker that could have been here. I don't think Koyos should have been here, so I think that might have actually been a good call. Quad red pips is hard, especially in, I think, this particular format. Koyos is hard to splash. But yeah, Tyranny makes sense. Reproach just makes sense. I think Reproach feels a little outclassed since it's nerfed, but I understand still wanting to lean on it. Endurance is a sweet protection spell. Searing Grace is just a good burn spell. Center of Attention is a pretty great removal spell. Igneous Visions, solid card filtering, and good with Amber's card selection mode as well. 5 enchantments on Magma Flow, another burn spell. Tense Negotiations, a little bit of value. Omen of Storms. Oh, I really hope that there's never a moment of Catalyst. Or Catalyst or their opponent mistaking Tense Negotiations as being an activated ability. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I can't imagine it will, but there's a little ping in my brain of the paying costs being a moment of wondering if that's activating an ability, and it's definitely not. Omen of Storms. Yeah, sure. I'm not sure what this is doing here, but sure. Plush collection with 8 creatures. I guess you're always going to have Amber in the command zone, and Amber's a good thing to plush collection. Or it's a reasonable thing to plush collection, rather. And then beyond that, like Melon with plush collection is proven to be pretty good. Calamity Cat with plush collection's awkward. Dormant Camel with plush collection can be pretty nice. Toki plush is interesting. Tyke plush is pretty good, but you can't do a ton of it. Ironback Sovereign with plush collection gets pretty scary, I think. Soothing Singer plush collection, that's removal. That's repeatable removal right there. And then Seraform Dragon plush collection is fine, I guess. I'm not sure how plush collection will fare here, but I mean, I see the theory with Amber, so. Then Crumbling Tower is just a good card. Equipment include Figgy Berry, sure. Blade of Clouded Pasts, I guess. Soul Guide Lantern is just good. Blade of Bright Futures, sure. Beacon Blade, okay. Titan's Bane, also okay. Does this unequip any of your equipment in this deck? Yes, it does. Titan's Bane does unequip Gravity Gauntlets. And it unequips Unflinching Armor. Cool. Got it. From your commander specifically. Nerul is sweet. Forebear's Blade. Gilded Font. Somehow this deck does not have Contest Coordinator, right? I feel like... Get, like... I don't know, get Figgy Berry out of here and get Concord in. Gilded Font. I do not have time to go through the deck's full mana value curve. I can't look at the deck's curve to figure out how like much you're cracking Gilded Font for. Lay Shard, sure. Snazzy Scarf. As long as equipped creature was activated this turn, gets an additional +2/+2. Yeah, that's cool. Unflinching Armor, sure. Gravity Gauntlets, sure. Alrighty, huh. Well, yeah, this is a lot of activated abilities. We'll see how Amber shapes up. I do think Amber is a really good card. I think Amber can do some cool things. We're up on Chip's deck. Chip is on the left heart. Unsurprising. I know Chip is either done the left heart run or you were like 4-0 last I saw. Because I know you got a promo in this deck. You promoed. It's not in here in your current build, but I know you promoed Majesty. And I was pretty sure you were on left heart with Majesty. But yeah, left heart is in here. 10 mountains, 6 forests makes sense on a double red, single green commander. Soul Space, Festivarium, Festivarium and only Festivarium, I think also tracks given the 10 mountains. 4-0 promote Majesty and then cut it. Yeah, fair enough. Temple, Rise, Woods, Path, Temple, Fisher, and Urban Jungle. Yep, that all makes sense. That all lines up, I think. You're running 3 good fetches. There are 3 better fetches, sorry, because there are still good like, I think all of the fetches, even, like, your Evolving Wilds and whatnot, can be reasonable in a pinch, especially with how few great duels we have in Brawl. Tough Nuts here! Okay, now to be devil's advocate, let's go through as we look at the deck and see what all Tough Nut can justify paying for. Also, I see another reason for the heavy lean in the mana base towards mountains, and it's called Koios. I mentioned it's hard to splash in a 2-color deck, and especially in this environment, but I guess you have figured out a way to make it work, and also, what am I talking about? It can be found off of Left Heart. Anyways, Tough Nut, Red Hot Rider, yeah, this will just cantrip in most cases. Cash Thrasher seems sweet. Mask Smith makes sense. Menelea makes sense. Morbid Bloomer's great. Sagittar is great. Stockbroker's great. Dryad is solid. Spike Mane Lion is pretty cool. Sunsoaker makes sense. Fabricated Anomaly makes sense. Gentrifiers makes sense. Thraxes makes sense. Eviviva, another good reason to be quad, to have a heavy lean to red with this quad red card. And then, of course, Warden of Tremors, another big dummy. 1 instant in Electronic Countermeasures. Yeah, this card's just good. Oh, God, I just noticed the Orphan on this card. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to look at this card and not see the 1 word at the end there. That's going to bug me. Let's move on. A Journey Begins. Also, I will just note, like... Going through the list of cards we just talked about. Okay, Red Hot, Tough Nut can also be used to activate Mask Smith, Menelea, or pay for Morbid Bloomer, which is nice. We get a Journey Begins. Firebolt can be flashed back using Tough Nut mana. Harvest Time can be cast from graveyard using Tough Nut mana. I love Harvest Nut. Harvest Nut. Good lord, I love Harvest Time in Brawl. 25 lands Harvest Time is a lot, but I kind of understand given the like intensive mana requirements here. I kind of used Harvest Time as an excuse to cut a land. In part because I'm used to treating these like 1 mana find a land cards in commander deck building as a land for the sake of my land counts. Igneous Visions also can use it. Use Tough Nut, that is. Terminal Impact is just big burn. Frag is good removal, flexible removal. Avalanche is just a good card. 8 normal non-creature enchantments. So you have 8 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more enchantments you can tutor up, and then Cash Thrasher makes 0 mana enchantments. So you can turn Cash Thrasher off the cached cards off of Cash Thrasher with Weft Heart. You can turn those into 1 mana enchantments, which is either going to be Map or Magma Flow. Otherwise, there's Flags on High, Shigani Manor Burns, Crumbling Tower, God Divided, Rebuilding of Londell, and Panic. Between the Hungry Blob in like 2 decks ago and God Divided here, I'm really wiping sweat from my brow that I did not choose to build Berry Master. Thraxes is a menace in Brawl. Oh yeah, Thraxes is sick. I really like this card. I have some thoughts on this card that I can't talk about because it has to do with a secret project of mine. But I think this card is crazy good. And it just has not gotten to see a ton of work because I think the contexts it's best in are fields like this, where you have ways like Weft Heart to find Thraxes more reliably, but removal is more few and far between. Because like if Thraxes is just discounting your opponent's removal spell and then getting killed immediately, that stings. But if Thraxes is coming into play and your opponent has to like cast multiple spells to try and dig their way out of dealing with Thraxes, that's awesome. And when the opponent is less likely to have a bunch of removal spells because they can't run playsets, that's a huge buff to Thraxes. Thraxes is very good where your opponent can only play one thing. Or can only play one hang. Yeah, that's super true. And that is exactly why I'm like, I think Thraxes is really sweet in Brawl. It's honestly my biggest reason I wish I was in Red. I think if I had spent more time working on Magma Council, I would have probably wound up with Thraxes in there as just a good, like, mid-rangey murder you card. But unfortunately, Magma Council's not where I landed. So Rebuilding a Londell, Panic, and Root Fossil. Root Fossil just makes sense. Oh no. Oh no. I'm getting flashbacks. No. So I believe my opponent was Kumrak in this particular match. Some folks here might know the legend of the 2-hour game that convinced me I could not in any world bring Codename Spider to this tournament. And it was against Akai and Toyotomi, and I believe Kumrak was my opponent for that match. Oh, good lord. Or no, it wasn't Kumrak. I think it was Magma Dragon. Was it Magma Dragon or was it Kumrak? Now I want to like pop open the GP chat and look. Hold on. It's gonna bug me. Oh, wait, what? Oh, it's because I'm streaming. I can't search from in the Rev League channel. Anyways, you got me, Magma. It was you. 2 hours. That's correct, Volt Switch. It was a 2-hour match between Magma and I, where Magma was on Akai and Toyotomi. I was on Codename Spider. I narrowly won it in a best of 3, and it convinced me that Codename Spider could absolutely thrive in this GP, and for my own sanity, I could not bring him. So unfortunately, this is a little spoiler. You're not gonna see me. Oh, whoops! I can't put the colon in here. You're not gonna see me on Codename Spider this month. I couldn't do this to anyone. I couldn't do this to anyone. I couldn't do this to the viewers. Um, this card's very good. It just doesn't kill quickly. And you didn't want to do it again, you'd get to play so much Magic. Yes, but see, I played 2 hours of Magic with this card, and my brain melted. So I can't do it. Anyways, Akai and Toyotomi, that match also convinced me this card is real in Brawl. I talked it down in the set review, but my god, this thing just murders you in no time. So very, very complex mana base. It's going to be hard for me to fully break down here, but there's two of each basic. Looks like we have like the relevant check lands from GQ Chaos Reigns, which is to say the two in your colors that don't check for islands. Colons break egg hubs. Yeah, I know. There's assumedly all of the shocks, the two districts that are in your colors. Warpway rings, I'm guessing, is just to go find these basics so you can have your like districts untapped more often. And because you're running fewer like normal tapped duels, you've got Titan Stairs, Miasmic Cove. It looks like those are and Gates of the Underworld is the 3 creature lands. Yeah. Seems reasonable. Seems like a solid mana base. I have at least 1 hour round every time I play against Squid. Usually I mill myself. Yeah, I have uploaded some GP matches that have been like one hour or more, and I've been like, wow, this is really pushing it for asking for my viewers' patience. 2 hours? Not gonna happen. I'm not doing that to people. So 17 creatures here. We've got Cash Thrasher, Masksmith. The deck I was up against was on Calamity Cat, and Calamity Cat really scared me because Calamity Cat not only means a 9/9 Akai and Toyotomi on turn 4, but also just means any of your creatures later on comes down and swings immediately. Though I think this might just be a priority on like better creatures on the like baseline, and just like letting good creatures leverage the Akai trigger. So Cash Thrasher, Masksmith, Exorcist of Errors, Lurking Fear Colossus, Inklight Dancer, Ozon Woodmerk. Ozon Woodmerk is not something I was expecting to see, but honestly, really good call with Akai and Toyotomi. Like, gets to be aggressive the turn you play Akai and Toyotomi, so can swing for 6 on turn 3, while helping you hit a turn 3 Akai and Toyotomi by fixing your mana for any missing 4th color that you need. And because it's at main phase and not like earlier in the turn and preserves the whole turn, you get to know what you're drawing and know how that will inform what you need off of the Ozon Woodmerk. This is a really, really good call. Concurrent Escapist is pretty good. Sunsoaker is pretty good. Fabricated Anomaly is pretty great. Hungry Blob is solid. God, again, very glad I didn't bring Berry Master with all of the people trying to blow up a bunch of tiny things. Bias the Poison Drinker. I mean, Kumrak bringing Bias one final month just makes sense. Kage's Mercenary, Programmed Pursuer. Pursuer is a really clever include here. Elder Tattooist, Survivors of the New World, Innering's Pupil, and Archon of Condemnation. All really good shouts here. Downlink Overload is great. Hang is solid. Creation's Combustion's good. Tyranny of Tracks, Thunderous Avalanche, all good. Avalanche with 8 things that could get blown up by it. Probably not too big of a deal. Terminal Impact, Final Fate, Abominable Avalanche, and Chronicle of Extinction, all also good. Enchantments are Magma Flow, Shigani Manor Burns, Sealing Strike, and of course SMB also helps you get to that Akai and Toyotomi on turn 3, as does the Lay Shard down here. SMB, Sealing Strike, Gone Pickin', Panic, and Revolt to the Palace. Revolt, there's obviously no instant and sorceries that it can hit. It hits everything in the enchantment slot besides itself and Panic, but there's only one of itself. There's Lay Shard that it hits but not Banisher Rifle, and it hits all but 3 creatures, so 14 creatures. And I feel like the revolt counts a little low, but I feel like that's just partly the consequences of Brawl forcing a very limited card pool. And of course, Lay Shard of Banisher's Rival. Yeah, Akai and Toyotomi is real. This is a deck I was scared of, but not one I was so scared of that I wanted to like build on how to counter it. I was just like, I just need to include interaction. I need to be able to deal with the opponent's board. That needs to be my Akai answer. Moving on, we've got H Squid's Master June Blades Twin. June Twin Blade Master. Which, as I've been made aware, apparently is supposed to be Twin Blade Space Master, not Twin Space Blade Master. I don't know if that's gonna end up happening or if this is just gonna stay as Twin Space Blade Master. And honestly, I don't mind this because I know it was Master of the Twin Space Blades previously. So like I kind of understand the rationale behind this spacing. I thought it was intentional, but I've heard it was a typo. I don't know what to make of it, but it's neat. I'm really excited that this legendary exists. This was definitely, I think, the most interesting white-black rare in Kitsuo to me, and so this being the commander now in place of now the Impenetrable just makes sense. This is such a cool commander to have. Pretty simple mana base. We're not going to run over the mana base every time because we only have so much time. And I think this is only the 6th deck. Yep, this is only the 6th deck. Melon, Exostiveres, Stellar Witness, Lurking Vircolacus, Psyhawk, Bacillo, Archon, and Darisha. Darisha really leveraging the 2 colors here and the slight lean towards white in the mana base. Stellar Witness also justifying that slight lean as well. There's a Blade Master out there. That's not this guy. He's just that guy's twin. The twin comes in with a steel chair. Yeah. I can't wait for Kitsuo 2 when we get to meet Jun's sibling. And it's just this, but in a different color combination and for artifacts. It's like white red artifacts, and white red exalted is the thing in Kitsuo 2. It's you make artifacts that are like artifact tokens that have exalted or something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas out of amusement. Anyways, Sonido and Celise are both good cards. I mean, yeah. When I was trying to see if I could build Magma Council, these both ended up in the deck. Downlink Overload is just good. God's Willing is sweet, but also a little odd given the low creature count and your key creature being 4 mana. But I guess your key creature being 4 mana means you're willing to play it on turn 5 and hold up a God's Willing to protect it. Dragon's the Dark, Walk the Dead's Path, out with the old all good removal, and then All That Remains. I'm a big fan of, but are there graveyard themes here to leverage? Nuge Blade Master Twin, June and John. I love that. Hi, Lee. Welcome to the stream. I wonder what graveyard themes there might be here besides, obviously the All That Remains. There's Final Fate and Chronicle of Extinction. These both have flashback. Otherwise, Finax's Touch, Planned Obsolescence, Zakros Decree, Receive, Ominous Slaughter, Seal Away, Undo, Futurist Ideal, Mastery. Mastery is spicy. Sealing Strike, Path of Finax, and Welkin Eviction, another good reason to lean on these planes. And Soul Species is in here to help reduce it as well. Nice. Enchantment you control enters. Does not have to be a non-token enchantment, notably. So Arcana Condemnation, really good there. But what, like, sack fodder do you have for the Archon is my concern. Because I really like Archon, but I think you really want to have things that make a bunch of creatures so you can sacrifice stuff to Archon of Condemnation, and this deck really doesn't spit out creatures. There's Undo is really the only like repeatable token maker for like making token creatures, so kind of an unfortunate anti-synergy. I think that Archon making a bunch of Confined to Eternities and June is a really nice pairing, but there's just not a whole lot of stuff in the deck to support it. I'd even almost be like excited about a Protean Bows in the mana base to kind of help that be a little more online. But I also understand not wanting the bows for the sake of more planes for Darisha and Welkin Eviction. And then artifacts are Stella's Journal, Archival Storage, Lay Shard, and Banisher Rifle. Sorry, I can already feel my voice rasping up. Gotta take a swig of water when I can. Remember, folks, stay hydrated. It is always good. It is always responsible. Moving on, we'll kind of run through this one quickly because you're going to get a 52-minute video explaining my rationale on some of these choices, or at least the purpose of these choices. I built Jack Monster Mentor, and we are mentoring some monsters. I love graveyard shenanigans. I love graveyard shenanigans. And I mean, like, this isn't a secret. This is not a secret at all. My first GP that I recorded was prior to the rivaling nerf. And I was just filling my graveyard with nonsense and eating rivalings to draw cards and eating Zigstax Apex to Lightning Helix the opponent. And playing Chittering Gargantua. Like, me being a fan. Okay, yes, there is Chronicle of Extinction in here. We'll talk about it. I acknowledge my hatred for it in the deck tech. My justification for this deck was I approach Brawl. I approached building a deck for this the way I approach building a Brawl deck on Magic Arena, which I don't play too often, but my go-to deck on Magic Arena is Ral Crackling Wit. And the argument for why I like Ral Crackling Wit on Arena is it's sort of this nice balance between something kind of more goofy that doesn't really necessarily work in 1v1 constructed all that well, but that I think could actually really consistently and reliably perform. So my deck on Arena is a like decently controlling deck with a lot of removal spells, a lot of like pieces of interaction, but those tools can also be turned into just sort of flexible like value pieces if need be, or discarded to like looting engines when Ral is online, because Ral's emblem gives all of your spells Storm, and the deck is the closest thing you can really get on Arena to a like blue-red Storm deck in Brawl on Arena. So in that same regard, you know, I think there's a lot of really good graveyard decks in the last several months of Rev, but a lot of the ones that have been really good are not necessarily the ones that I love. I love graveyard decks with a bunch of funky triggers, and I tried to do a deck where it was just like eating a bunch of stuff out of my graveyard, but that didn't really work. So this kind of ended up sliding closer towards just being like a really grindy mid-range deck, which is why I felt like Chronicle Extinction was a must here. So to kind of go over things in a general sense, this is black-green graveyard mid-range. Jack is a life gain and damage engine that can fill the graveyard, rebuy creatures and lands from the graveyard, or edict the opponent a couple different times. The +2 and the +1 are both really reasonable with a couple of the different mana dorks that we have. I'm on Tough Nut. Here it is. But Tough Nut has value beyond just my commander. It transforms Rooftop Slink, which is one of 2 Cyber Soul creatures I'm playing, and we'll get here, but I'm only on 2 artifacts, and I still think these Cyber Soul cards are perfectly reasonable here, because Rooftop Slink does one of the key things my deck is interested in. I want to pressure my opponent's hand and run them out of resources, leave them with only their commander and a dream. And so Rooftop Slink gets them to that point really quickly, and I don't care about discarding my cards, because that can trigger Jack, or I can just get those back with Jack, or I can get some value. And I think Slink is a perfectly reasonable card to just play out and flip in the like mid to late game, especially as I run out of resources. So like Rooftop Slink's really good. Arduous Miners, it does hand attack, Lurking Vircolacus, Graveyard Hate, Morbid Bloomer, Recursion, Pressuring Ghoul, hand attack, and damage. Damage is really key. Inklight Dancer, removal and damage. Excessive Errors, hand attack, Mana Harvesters, ramp, Concurrent Escapist, ramp, Masksmith, removal. Like we've just got like a lot of nice flexible utility here, and I point out these all on the 1 and 2 slot because we're on Ozon's Blessing, and so finding those is really important. Or being able to find those is really important. And so Ozon's Blessing getting to be a second copy of any of those particular cards when we need it to be, that we can like draw this instead of one of those cards and then go find the card we need is really important. And yeah, we're on Ghoul. We're on Pressuring Ghoul. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play this, but this is one of 3 landfall cards we have in this deck, and I think with Jack being able to loop my Forgotten Junkyards or loop my redeveloped cityscapes, like Jack can absolutely just be a landfall engine as well, which is really nice. So yeah, I've been pretty happy with Pressuring Ghoul here, especially as like I have other things that also apply pressure to the opponent's hand. Like Pressuring Ghoul really just runs the opponent out of cards quickly and forces them to consider whether or not their cards are more valuable than their life total, especially when I have so many other incidental forms of chip damage. Higher up on the curve, I've got Urban Explorer, Alarantin Visionary, Barbarous Rough Rider, and Hardy Rough Rider. Inner Rings Pupil and Life Hacker on the 4-drop slots. Scotha on 6, as well as Malicious Sky Cleaver. And we'll come back to Life Hacker in a moment, because there's a thing I want to describe that I realized in the middle of recording my deck tech, and I mentioned that when I talk about it in the deck tech. But we'll talk about the rest of the deck first. We've got 4 each instant and sorcery. I'm on Downlink, Overload, Hang, and all that remains to supplement Ozon's Blessing in the instant slot. Sorceries, I have Harvest Time. As I mentioned, I really like this to sort of serve as a 24th land in my 23 land deck. As well as Duress, Failed Gateway, and Chronicle of Extinction. I just think Duress is going to be good here. I did not intentionally choose the Streets at River in Secrets of River City's art, but I guess this is the more promo-y art we have right now because it's the one that's not in rotation. So I was going to pick all the promos because it's the Singleton Commander-like format. We gotta bling out our deck. Failed Gateway was specifically a contention for recognizing that this, with a 4-drop in the command zone, gets to be online more often, and I'm also deeply afraid of Ephemia, and while I was not willing to build a deck to counter Ephemia outright, I did want to recognize that beating Ephemia is something that should be like a way I have a thing to actually do. And so one of the ways that I can do this, besides the life gain that I have in the deck, and besides the ways I have to like fight for the board in the deck, Failed Gateway is one of the ways I can just kind of lock out Ephemia boards. And other go wide boards. Like that Ninja's deck does not look very happy against a Failed Gateway. And then a Chronicle of Extinction. Same answer. -2/-2 just feels really important. The Edict mode is really good, especially with people being able to put Planeswalkers in the command zone and just like Planeswalkers in their deck. I feel like the sacrifice a creature and Planeswalker both, I feel like, is going to happen a lot more here than it does in normal constructed. And the hand attack is really good because, again, we are just pressuring hands. I'm on 7 enchantments here. We're on Receive, Phalanx's Touch, Pull of Tyzerus, Ominous Slaughter, Sifting Through Soot, another landfall card, just kind of pad our life total a little bit more. And the reanimation mode on Sifting can be really nice, especially when we're in a deck with Scotha. Scotha just, reanimate Scotha with Sifting Through Soot, and then Scotha gets back Sifting. So we can kind of set up that reanimation engine to keep Scotha in play, or keep other important things in play over time. Disestablishmentarianism is another thing I kind of included. I didn't really put a whole bunch of, I don't have Hungry Blob, I don't have Thunderous Avalanche, so I wanted to lean on these like good pinpoint artifact and enchantment removal spells, so I have the Disestablishmentarianism and the Masksmith for those reasons. Then Path of Phalanx, of course, last hurrah on this. And then I have Root Fossil and Aspect of the End on the artifact slot. Aspect really, really good with stuff like Jack and Inklight Dancer. And let's talk real quick before we move on. And I'm in base is really simple. I'm 23 lands, 13 basics. The like 3 really good fetches. I'm on Hollowed Chamber as a way to like get that 7th swamp in here, while having this be a way for me to bounce ahead on mana a little early if I want to, or I can just like crack this, bank some treasure, and then replay it with Jack if I like only have a land in hand. If I only have one land in hand and I don't care for it particularly, I can just crack the Hollow Chamber, bank the treasures, and discard the land in my hand to play the Hollow Chamber again. Disestablishmentarianism is so hater respect. Yeah, it was very much like the hater pick for me. I was just like, I feel like people are gonna do some funny artifact activated abilities. Like someone might bring like a treasures deck, and disestablishmentarianism bullies them out of existence. So I was like, this is gonna be mean, and I'm gonna bring it. And this, it shuts down cash tokens. What's your Cash Thrasher gonna do in the face of one legal principle? Or philosophical, governmental principle, rather. Anyways. I've also got Time Worn Crags, just another good land to loop with Jack here. So before we move on, I mentioned there was something more to talk about with Lifehacker, and it's that if I ever reach a point where I have Lifehacker leveled up at least once, Jack in play as well, and I am going to discard to hand size, if I have more cards in my library than my opponent has life remaining, I win. Because if I discard a permanent to hand size, Jack will ping my opponent for 1, and I will gain 1, which will draw me a card with Lifehacker, which will force me to have to discard to hand size again, which will trigger Jack to ping my opponent for 1, and we rinse and repeat until either I discard a non-permanent card, which there are only 8 of in the deck, so while there is a likelihood that I could intentionally break the loop if I need to, there's also a high likelihood that I won't have to, because my opponent will be at a low enough life total from Jack pings prior in the game and from other sources of damage that Lifehacker plus Jack can just kill them over the top out of nowhere. I don't think I'm going to be discarding the hand size too often in this deck, but I do think Jack plus Lifehacker is already really good on its own, where removing my opponent's creatures draws me a card through Jack getting a trigger from that, or milling myself with Jack then draws me a card, plus 1ing Jack draws me a card, minus 3ing Jack returns a creature to my hand then draws me a card. So like, I already think Jack and Lifehacker is a match made in heaven, and then Lifehacker combo being what it can be as like the end step kill is just a nice bonus as well. I don't think it's going to happen, but it certainly could, and I'll be keeping my eyes peeled for it if and when Lifehacker comes out of my deck, because it is only 1 of 59, so there's no guarantee I ever draw it this GP, but it certainly could happen. We'll pick up the pace a little bit because we've covered 7 decks in an hour. Just about. And we've got 13 more to go. So Volt Switch is on Karaja Sacrifice. Karaja is really sweet here. Getting to draw 2 cards when you play it from the command zone at the cost of discarding your hand. Really, really cool. And of course, when you sacrifice it, you can exile it and just play it from exile until the end of your next turn, functionally sending it back to the command zone without the tax. This is 24 lands with 15 basics. A lot of the reasonable lands. Love seeing Edgeland Market and Hollow Chamber here. These are both cool lands. I've been happier with Edgeland Market the more I've looked at it. Redeveloped Cityscape makes sense, yeah. Impulsive Underling seems good. Medic seems good. Skulker, yeah. Lackeys is sweet. Oni of Tongues feels a little low impact. Expendable Arsonist is sweet. Inklight Dancer, I will always be a fan of. Smiling Sludge just makes sense here. Estranged Aristocrat is a really cool shout here. Oh, there's one card that's missing here that I'm kind of surprised by, which is I'll pull it up here. No Venerable Veteran. Obviously, Decayed not being able to block with this is pretty relevant, but if you're building a sacrifice plan, just being able to Venerable Veteran every turn is like a real thing that you could have access to as just a repeatable 2-mana cast this from your graveyard, sack it to your engines to like continue fueling the fire. So kind of a bummer that Venerable Veteran's not in here. Um, for your things like Inklight Dancer, Estranged Aristocrat, uh, and so forth. Karaja Centipede at 3, Ravenous Slaughterlord. Another one that feels a little low impact. Demon of Dire Storms. This just kills people really fast out of nowhere. Uh, Merciless Ruiner is sweet. Merciless Headsman seems reasonable here. Rib Collector. First Rib Collector. Is this first Rib Collector? Not enough impact from Venerable Veteran. See, I think that's fair, but then my counterpoint would be you're on Onia Tongues and Ravenous Slaughterlord. Like, I think you have room to play some things that are low impact compared to these. Like, I think Veteran has at least a little more impact because it's a repeatable sacrifice target. I don't think you have anything that really recurs from the graveyard, so your sacrifice stuff is really limited to like what you're getting out into play. Like you got Enduring Loyalty later on, but there's really not a whole lot that's like rushing stuff out of your graveyard. So I feel like Venerable Veteran, that's like all the more reason to want Venerable Veteran to just feed your sacrifice outlets. I guess like Rib Collector can kind of do something similar though, so though Rib Collector does it for so much more mana. And it can at least rebuy other things, fortunately. Gatherer of Grievances, sure. Vengeful Artificer, I have not been impressed by, but sure. I do like the adventure a lot here. I just the body itself does not feel good enough for me to be happy with the adventure. Yeah, that's fair. Karaja is the repeatable sack fodder. That's super fair. Yeah, so I guess with Karaja, Venerable Veteran doesn't need to be here. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, fair enough. Godslaughter Titan, yeah, and then General of the Damned. When it enters or attacks, deal 3 to any target, you gain life. Yeah. Garen, Guillaume. I'm sad to not see Guillaume here, but I am very happy to see Garen here. I think Garen is so good. As far as Black Red goes, when I was thinking about what Adventure activates Karaja. Tokens copy a target creature. Yeah, I guess, yeah, you just adventure targeting Karaja, make a token copy of Karaja, and you probably have to legend rule the token, because like legend ruling your commander just sends it back to the command zone because it's not technically sacrificing. Ask me how I know. But yeah, like I guess that's fair. This can just be 2 in a red, discard your hand, draw 2 cards. Like again, like I like the adventure on Vengeful Artificer. I don't love the body it's attached to. That is my big issue with Vengeful Artificer, as I feel like this body is really, really underwhelming to me. And it's because I've played this as a 4-mana 2/4 in Commander, and that 4-mana 2/4 has a graveyard recursion element that still does not always feel like it's quite up to par. But again, like the adventure I think is really cool. I'm a big fan of these effects, so yeah. Big fan of Garen. What I was gonna say was, as far as like black-red commanders go, Garen was going to be my black-red commander I'd build if I was thinking about going black-red. I think Garen's really sweet. Heedless Cruelty just makes sense. Creation's Combustion just makes sense. Dragons of the Dark, yeah. Hellspoon, yeah. Deadly Dispute, yeah. Maim, yeah. Dying Pledge, yep. All of these seem reasonable. Terminal Impact, yep. Frag is good. Rank and File's good. Enduring Loyalty is very, very spicy here. And, I mean, I'm not like super confident in it, but Karaja guarantees that you can get this into your graveyard from your hand. And then, you could live the dream. Could live the dream and reanimate 6 things for 4 mana and 3 creatures. This is absolutely the kind of thing I would jam in a commander deck in a heartbeat. And then finally, Magma Flow. Aushun's Presence is really clever. Spiteful Banditry is sweet. Serve Again is sweet. Good stuff. All right, Split Moon's on Zavek that thing up. I said in the GP chat, Split was like, I think like jokingly being coy about what their commander could be. was like, oh, nobody could ever guess. And I remember I said in the GP chat, I'm not sure if I want to place my money on Zavik or Azantium. I was right. This is my round one opponent. Zavik Corruptor Core Black Colorless Integrate. Oh boy, we're going to be gaining a lot of life against each other. Alrighty. Opponents on 24 lands here with a pretty utility centric mana base because of the monocolor incentive to play colorless cards with Zavik here. So Mirror Meld Spire's good, Coalesced Core's good, Rumbling Door, yeah, Dox is sweet, Opulent Vantage is sweet, Ludicon makes sense. The one downside to getting to play all of these is that I do see the Damned to Hell here, but with these, with 12 non-swamp, or I guess 11, because Ludicon is a swamp. Not even playing one Wastes and a Primal Fissure. Yeah, not even playing one Waste and a Primal Fissure is interesting. Or like playing one or two Wastes and multiple fetches would be sweet. And the reason why I make that observation is there are 11 lands here that don't count for Damned to Hell. And I don't know if there's really going to be any other cycling cards for Damned to Hell to check. Kind of skimming here, skimming here. Looking like a no. Yeah, so it's just these 13 swamps, the 12 basic swamps, and the Heap Ludicon for Damned to Hell. So this might not actually be... I think this is probably going to wind up being 4 damage on turn 5, and very possibly 3 or even 2 damage on curve, which is a lot more awkward from this card. But let's talk about what else we got here. Sky Raiders makes sense. Pathetic Cocoon makes sense. That's a thing that you can just integrate. That's like, this creates multiple things that you can integrate to Zavik just to keep it untapped. Dreg Street Inquisitor is sweet. Corpse Pyrofiend's great. Data Weaver, I'm thrilled to see somebody playing it. Unsurprised that it's Split Moon. Corrupt Congressman is sweet. This is another thing that just makes a bunch of trinket tokens for you to pitch to Zavik. If you have to, you can just keep pitching the click token to Zavik. And Zavik can also change which click you're on if the ability of Congressman, the Torment mode, is not the most important thing, and you're more interested in Congressman being either make treasures, surveil 2, or make tutus with Decayed. That can work really nicely with Zavik resetting your clique. That's really cool. Essence Archivist just makes sense. Stratos Sentry just makes sense. Matter Harvester, yeah, that's just good. Inner Rings Pupil's just good. Keon is just good. What is the curve like here for Keon? Because I'm always concerned with Keon that this is just going to cost you life more than it's going to gain you. And I will say, this is a mono black deck where the quad black pips worry me a little bit, because we have the 12 swamps, we have the Heap Ludicon, we have the Coalesced Core. That's 14. 15 with Jubilant Dox. Vantage doesn't count, it only casts Damned to Hell. Protean Bows all count as 15 and a half. Yeah, there's 15 and a half. Oh, I guess there's Royal Balcony. Sorry, Royal Balcony also can apply to Damned to Hell and can go find you a swamp. So we'll count this as another half. We'll say 16 of 24-ish lands. So 2/3 make black. So I guess maybe Keon's fine. Always happy to lose life to Keon since she's drawing me 2 cards. That's super fair. I just always am in this mindset of but what if she could just be gaining you life? What if she's just gaining you 12 life and then dealing 7 to you, and you just get to go up by 5 and draw 2 big spicy top end cards? Which I guess can happen. We got Skycleaver here. We've got Ziv. Skycleaver plus Ziv off the top with Keon is gain 11, lose 7, so you just gain 4. It's that's sweet. That can happen. These are both good cards. Spatial Rift is super strong. Awkward in the face of Planeswalkers compared to creature commanders, but it is nice that this is a colorless way to shut down a key thing a commander's doing and potentially exile that commander and get around any protection that commander might have, for instance the Ward 2 on Akihiko. Taste for Malice, another good piece of stack interaction. Maim, really good. In Essence, another piece of stack interaction. Artificial Unlife just seems fine. Damned to Hell, again, I've expressed my concern with Damned to Hell, but I do think it's still a really good card. First Contact is fine. Duress seems reasonable. Fester Defluvium is probably pretty good here. Dissect Intel, yeah. Killing in the Name of is spicy, but I think that makes sense. There's a lot of monocolored creatures that are really good here, so this is likely to find a reasonable target. And deals with Ephemia. Chronicle of Extinction, yeah. Atomize, very hateful. Phoenix's Touch, Earthly Pensions, Offering the Sky Gods, Ominous Slaughter, and Borrow all seem reasonable. Stella's Journal, Hwacha, interesting. Hwacha is a very interesting call here. Guess just really want more removal, huh? Wait. Hwacha and not, like... Split, where's the scrap weight? Split, where's the scrap weight? Just throw more things that make junk tokens into your deck. The junk tokens are already good with your commander. I get that Hwacha is really funny, but like, where's the scrap weight? Split, it's your card. You made this. I'm sad. I really love scrap weight. I was really close to playing it in my deck. I just didn't have the artifact count to make it work. Cause one of my reasons behind that was like, Jack works really good with auras that kill a thing. Pull of Tizerus. If Pull of Tizerus kills a creature, Jack triggers twice. Because the creature dies to state-based actions, Jack goes on the stack, then the aura falls to the graveyard, Jack goes on the stack again. But I guess no scrap weight. We're just watching. We're watching to the end of the day, to the end of the earth. Hollow Map enters with 2 charge counters. You can remove the charge counter, make a creature unblockable. Yeah, that's sick with Zavok. That's just undeniably sick. And then Archaic Obelisk as a bit of card selection. All right, I see what you're up to. Wow. You thought I wouldn't play Mono Green Stompy one last time? Fools, you can pry this deck from my cold dead hands. What a shocker. Provs on Mono Green. So I'm getting Hwacha, Lifelink, and Death Touch really funny. Wait. It's permanence? Okay, I take it all back. Jack. You saw the missing piece of the puzzle that I did not. Holy shit. Okay, no, that's really funny. Okay, yeah, no. Hwacha slander, fully revoked. I understand now. I see what was cooking. And it was jet fuel. Good lord. Yeah, that's one way to get around the life hacker combo, huh? Good god. All right, Split. I see what you're up to. All right, Provs, you thought I wouldn't play Mono Green one last time. Yen's Slope Skidder. I'm curious to know why Yen's and not Zeno, if only because, again, I feel like the 3-drop slot's just a lot more fraught. But I guess, like, I see 5 3-drops here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I see 4 3-drops. And then 1. I only see 1 4-drop. Okay, so I think like with the knowledge that there's 1 4-drop and 4 3-drops, Yen's makes sense here. For the sake of being able to fill that curve more reliably. So 23 lands, the simplest mana base we've had yet. Just Buffery Conservatory and 22 forests. 25 creatures might be the highest count so far. Felt the 4-drop slot was not as crowded. Yeah, that's super fair. Aspiring Anarchist, Orochi Soulfang, Seeker of New Horizons, Sun Soaker, only 3 1-drops, good lord. Sun Soaker, Growing Gecko. Where's Ephemia when you need her, right? Yen's will be a menace to all the commander walkers. That's super true. Sunsoaker, Growing Gecko, Sleeper Insurgent, Skittertiller, Masksmith, Cyberzoologist is a sweet include here. Concurrent Escapist, Ethereal Blossom, Uncoiling Realm Spawn. Realm Spawn when your commander is a 4-drop is really clever. Morbid Bloomer, Menelea, Star-Studded Sagitar in the 2-drop slot. We got Zeno, Brutal Throat Crusher, Hardy Rough Rider, and Skull and Nyx Weaver at 3. Nessian Scout Captain as the only other 4. Aurora Buffer Exec, Stonework Titan at and Terror Evolantine at 5. Also Arasta's Handmaiden. For some reason, I always think this is a 6-drop. And then also at 5 is King of the Wilderness. Very mean deck. Very mean deck. And I dodged the mono green matchup in round 1. Thank God. there is mercy in the universe. All right. Vasilisa as the one Planeswalker makes sense. Mammoth Undertaking, Ozon's Blessing, and Thunderous Avalanche all seem reasonable. Journey Begins seems really good with the suite here. Momentous Strike. Oh god, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that is just a 1-mana bite at sorcery speed to a creature or planeswalker. Oh no, my planeswalker! My commander! Prof, no! That's really clever. Nylia's Call. Scrape the Heavens. Yeah. Breath of the Spirit Realm, rather. Oh lordy. Yeah, that's gonna kill people. That is just gonna be 7-mana kill you. Portal to the Spirit Realm and Summoning Swords. All good. Silvers on Guy Gekka, Tide of Victory. This does not surprise me, and this is one of the decks I was more worried about. I think Guy Gekka is real. Super real in this format. Super annoying to remove in this format. Pretty deep mana base. 6 basics with a whole lot of duels here. Including some more like suspect duels like Field Laboratory, Steam Colony, just for the sake of like getting as much mana fixing as possible, which I think is reasonable. 12 creatures, including Tough Nut, Savvy Smith, and look, Tough Nut has additional utility. It crews Sky Gekka. It contributes 0 power to crewing Guy Gekka. Savvy Smith, Cogwork Harvester, Keranos, Alice Mars, Decavolt Reactor, Brass Oracle, Fabricated Anomaly, Hardy Rough Rider, Lacebark Wielder, Opal Eye Allseer, King of Shallow Shores. All sweet cards. Been really impressed by King of Shallow Shores in particular with what I've seen from it in Gaigeka. Because this is just like tap a creature with 3 or more power while Gaigeka's in play, tap one of your opponent's creatures. This just like shuts combat out of the game, which is really cool. Instant Suite is pretty deep, which is unsurprising given the deck. Shock, Punishment from Nyx as the double shocks. Forced Ejection, Deft Deflection in Sorcel. Techian Pledge, Seafloor Treasures, Get Your Wish is really cool here. High Voltage, Saboteur's Immolation, Keranos' Judgment, Divine Mishap, and Crewfix's Judgment. Zangi, celebrate! It's here again! There's also Industrialize, Firebolt, Terminal Impact, Ripples of History, Chronicle of Precedence, and Abominable Avalanche for sorceries. Enchantments are Research Grant, Shigani Manor Burns, and Collector's Item. And then one great advantage of this very complex deep mana base is that with 24 lands, there are only 3 instances of duplicates. So there are 21 unique lands for Stella's Journal. Where's Covetous Frostworm, you ask? I actually think it's reasonable to not include it here. 19 instant and sorceries feels really, really perilous to try and make Frostworm work. Let's just pull Frostworm up for the sake of it. Yeah, I know Silver was particularly worried about Ephemia, so having a lot of ways to fight Ephemia seems pretty reasonable here. Cast an instant or sorcery, mill a card. If it's an instant or sorcery, you return it. Otherwise, you put a counter on the Covetous Frostworm. I don't think this deck's really looking to rush a bunch of cards into its graveyard, and it's not enough instant and sorceries to make the Frostworm work. It's on enough instants and sorceries to make a lot of the Spellslinger themes work, but I think Frostworm just demands such a high density comparative to like Opaleye Allseer, Savvy Smith, Cogwork Harvester, and the like. So I think it's reasonable to leave the Frostworm out here. May have been the one that put the Fear of Ephemia into silver. That's super fair. Frostworm is scarily efficient. That is true. I think Frostworm is really efficient. It's just a case of I think I understand why it's absent here. And like I personally understand. I think like if it were to come in here, maybe the Lacebark Wielder would be the thing to go. But I think Wielder is also just a really, really strong spell trigger anyways, so. If only the Lacebark Wielder was for non-creature spells, and the Wielder could cast your Gaigeka. That would be amazing. Unfortunate. Anyways, yeah, Stella's Journal, really good at leveraging the 21 unique land names here as well. Magma's Gelthus Gaming. What? I didn't think we would see a single ruin in the command zone. This is sweet. 20 swamps, 1 heap Ludicon, 1 wasted watchpost, 1 toxic effigy. We've got the Damned to Hell, but this is compared to the 13 swamps that Split was on, this is 21 swamps. I like Damned to Hell a lot more here. So we got Aphanized Reveler. So Gelthus is going to be hitting players, revealing their hand, and taking cards until it leaves. So Gelthus can just slowly shred and hand attack multiple cards. Sort of like Exorcist, but without the mind game, and it's repeatable. So Aphanized Reveler, Rooftop Slink, Venerable Veteran, Pressuring Ghoul. Oh, I like Veteran here, because while I was saying it earlier in the context of Karaja, and I was missing the fact that Karaja does what Veteran would do for that deck, Veteran's really good here because it's a way to just have a reliable way to spend 2 mana to spell charge Gelthus. To like work up to that spell charge requirement with 1-drops. That's really cool. Little awkward that this sacrifices second main, meaning you probably want to, or sacrifices end of combat, meaning you probably want to recast it on second main when the spell charge would be less relevant. But that's, I think like it's still fine to just leave it in the graveyard and recast it next turn, and like attack with it every other turn. Because this is still just like a 3/3 menace, and you can kind of let that weave into turns where you need it to fulfill the spell charge requirement more. Ghoul, Lurking Verclocus, Exorcist, Underworld Tormentor, the big gamble. I think this in a 25 life format is really risky. Because the higher your starting life total is, the more this thing just kills you. Barbarous Rough Rider, Axiomine, Merciless Ruiner, Programmed Pursuer, Inner Pupil, Kimja Deadeye, sweet, and Fido's Offshoot. We got Downlink Overload, Corpse Experiment I really love, Ruiner's Execution I was not super impressed by in my little bit of playtesting for this month. Maim, Hang, Out with the Old, and Damned Hell. Sorceries are Final Fate, Rank and Defile, Forced Shutdown, Failed Gateway, and Chronicle of Extinction, all good. Good to see another player on Failed Gateway. A little more awkward that Gelthus is the one card you can guarantee having, and it does not corrupt Failed Gateway, but it does dodge Failed Gateway at least. Like, you can always Gateway knowing that Gelthus won't be impacted by it. And it spell charges your Gelthus as well, which is nice. Pull of Tizerus, Phoenix's Touch, Protean's Animosity could be nice. Ominous Slaughter, Borrow, and Path of Phoenix for enchantments. And then artifacts are Time-Worn Sentry, Archaic Straggler, Vanquished Conqueror, and Aspect of the End. So just getting more ruins in here. Okay. Ooh, I knew Itai had been cooking with Cassia. Cassia the Carefree has entered the battlefield. Had a great game where Magma killed herself with the Underworld Tormentor trigger, removed all of the black pips in response to the trigger. Oh my god, yeah, like the another concern here, yeah. Tormentor can just get you killed. Very much something you got to be aware of. Alrighty. Also, I need to check a thing real quick. This is you have ward, discard a card. Checking a thing for my sanity if I run into this matchup. Each, not target. Thank goodness Jack gets around it. Another win. Another win for Jack. So Itai's on mono white. 23 planes and stack Conviviplex here. We've got Melan, Contest Coordinator, Overbearing Researcher, Selective Truth Seeker, Telepresence Axiom. Can be, I guess, pretty good with the -2 doubling up its enter trigger. Virtualized Onomastic, Weave Dispatcher, only the second Onomastic. Although I don't think we've seen a ton of white decks, so I guess that's fair. Weave Dispatcher, Highland Guide, Download Courier, Graceful Finalizer, Renowned Rough Rider, Ayeshi's Agent. I am a big fan of. This was one of the big things motivating me to build Magma Council was Ayeshi's Agent. Autonomous Apiarist, Bringer of Heliod's Light, Chosen of Heliod, Darisha Stack Exec, Agnamakos Justice, and the Army of Trax in the creature slot. Planeswalkers are the two biggins, Dutiful Wanderer and Illustrious Shang-Fa. Then we've got Plasma Strike, Ripple Effect, and Fall of Alantian. Zakros Decree, Imperial Tour, Seal Away, Redistributive... sorry, not redo, just Distributive Justice. Futurist Ideal, Gone Pickin', Sealing Strike, Revolt of the Palace, Auspicious Return, and Welkin Eviction. And then the artifacts are Ley Shard and the Smoking Strand. Smoking Strand's really cool here. Gives Cassia a way to gain loyalty naturally while also finding one of your planeswalkers. Really cool. Yeah, I'd seen Itai cooking with Cassia a bit here, playing some league matches with Cassia, so I'm not surprised to see this, though I am eager to see how Itai performs with this deck. Zangi's playing with the toys the gods give us. I hoped somebody would be on Nykthos. Thank you, Zangi. I almost built Nykthos myself. So we have, is this every creature land? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's 8 of the 10. Can I figure out which ones are missing? Auspicious Return, first time I've seen that one so far. Yeah, it's nice to see Auspicious Return show up. Oh, it's one of the blue ones is missing. Oh, it's Shell Cove. Shell Cove's not here. That doesn't surprise me. Oh, and it's a black one is missing as well. Or hold on, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's Baron Ashlands, the black red one. I figured it out. I got there. Those are not surprising me as far as them being absent. So this is 5-color shrines. Error's Bane Deadshot, very good include. I think there is a really awkward anti-synergy here with Error's Bane Deadshot, though, because this requires you to target a creature at the beginning of combat on your turn, whereas the shrines that animate things also animate them at the beginning of combat. So we're talking... I guess... hold on. Is that even in here? Are you not on... Oh, you are on Shrine to Krufix. I guess Shrine to Krufix is the only thing that animates, so it's not as big of an anti-synergy as it would be in, like, having Shrine to Krufix in, like, a higher quantity in a 60-card deck, in, like, standard constructed. Okay. Yeah, Shrine to Aroas plus Error's Bane Deadshot kills people fast. Like Haratos, also really good, kind of very similar to Error's Bane Deadshot. And Builder of Monuments, this just makes sense. Thovius Adi is pretty spooky. Punishment from Nyx, Get Your Wish, really clever. Saboteur's Immolation, Ayeshi Breaks the Loop, really, really good card. I'm glad to see it here. Lost to Memory makes a bunch of shrines. That just makes sense. Coup d'etat, also pretty reasonable. Midsummer Dream, yeah, that's just like reasonable enough ramp. It's almost always going to draw you a card. Invasion's End seems like a solid anti-aggro tool, and Chromatic Rift, very good. And then we have a whole bunch of shrines. Let's count the non-shrines and then count how many shrines are actually in the deck. Because I know there are 16 shrines. We have Imperial Tour, which finds any of your white shrines, or finds Lycaratos. Harmony with Nature, which just seems good, and the Sinking of Elantian. So there are all 16 shrines. So yeah, 5-color shrines. I'm glad somebody did it because I was going to be really sad that I didn't. Lilisaur, unsurprisingly, on Villain Arc, playing Sinido. I feel like I like some part of my brain knew that you were cooking with Sinido. So I feel like this doesn't come as too much of a shock to me, but maybe it should. We've got Gates of the Underworld, Jubilant Docks, 9 of each basic, Desolate Path, Neostelia, Stark Expanse, Temple of Silence, and Hollowed Chamber. 7 creatures in Rooftop Sling, Exorcist of Errors, Inklight Dancer, Lurking Fear Colossus, Renowned Rough Rider, Looming Slyhawk, and Inner Ring's Pupil. We've got Celise and Sheng Fa. We've got Downlink Overload, Plasma Strike, Tyranny, Walk, The Dead's Path, Hang, Drag, and Out with the Old. Lots of good removal. Absentia, first time we've seen that here, as well as Duress. Final Fate, Ruins Awaken, Failed Gateway number 3, Chronicle of Extinction, Pest Problem, first Pest Problem we've seen all evening, and Chromatic Rift. Enchantments are Planned Obsolescence, Receive, Fenax's Touch, Pull of Tizerus, Click, Seal Away the Path of Fenax, Sealing Strike, and the Fall of Trax. All makes sense. And Leyshard gets a turn 3 Sinido. Yeah. Not many like really shocking choices. These are all like pretty reasonable cards to include in a Sinido deck. Like just cards that are good on their own, good at fighting what the opponent's doing, good at kind of putting the opponent in an awful position, and with the knowledge that like you can just kind of win the game with Sinido by the way of just demoralizing the opponent into oblivion. Surely the Bond villain Sinido would be the Shrouded Darkness shiny one. I think the Bond villain Sinido is Mecha Sinido. It's the Renegade promo. You gotta get Paradox Sinido in here. That's Bond villain. She's turned into an AI. I guess that's beyond Bond villain status. That's like anime villain. But isn't James Bond just British anime? I couldn't finish that sentence earnestly. The moment it started coming out of my mouth, I knew there was just like I get to drop a weird lore fact. I found out like maybe a month or 2 ago. Something I never really knew, or I guess it's not a month or 2 ago. This was like 3 months now. I found out during the May GP that my father very into James Bond, and I never knew this. I was not really raised on those stories, not really raised on those books or those films. And my dad, I remember I said something about like thinking that James Bond is more interesting than Mission Impossible, and my dad was deeply offended and started to list every single James Bond film that has ever released, and talking about his thoughts on all of them. Never knew this about him. Apparently he's really into spy thrillers, and I never knew this. In the entirety of my lifetime. So that was an interesting revelation. So yeah, so maybe there's plenty of things I don't know about James Bond apparently. Anyways, moving on. We don't need to talk too much about me. Elite Wizards on Athreos. Somebody's on Aristocrats. Yes. Not to shame Karaja, because Karaja is very much a sacrifice deck. But in my mind, a sacrifice deck and an Aristocrats deck are two very different things. I say this with confidence, having Aristocrats and Sacrifice be one of my go-to bits of nonsense when I play Commander. I have an Elenda deck in paper. I love Aristocrats. I pulled Sephiroth from one of the only 2 packs of Final Fantasy I've ever opened. It was crazy. And he immediately got sleeved up, and the 3 people at the shop who all wanted to trade me for him were really upset. And I understand. So Athreos, white-black Aristocrats here. We've got pretty standard, reasonable mana base here. Slight skew towards plains. Attuned Acolyte, Lost Resistor, Stellar Witness, Farland's Diplomat. Kind of more of a like slightly more like hate bearsy kind of thing. Stellar Witness, Farland's Diplomat, both kind of reasonable. Diplomat's a nice like anti-go wide plan. I'll take Daniel Craig over Tom Cruise any day. Yeah, that's partly my reasoning. That's where I land on the Mission Impossible James Bond dichotomy. I would believe that, like, oh wow, Mission Impossible's far more entertaining, far more exciting, and more dramatic. I'll take Daniel Craig over Tom Cruise any days. I'm with you, Prov. You get it. Anyways, Exorcist of Errors, Army Reserves, Alcadia, Bacillo, Looming Psyhawk, Containment Seraph. I am not a believer in this card. I don't think this card's very good. I like that it's just hard removal. It's not like until this leaves. I just think the payment for this getting removed is so high. This is such a high payout. Like, the one advantage here is that this is a really annoying card for Sinido to see, because Sinido never wants to give this -1/-1. But like, that's it. That's the only time where I think Containment Seraph's text is really funny. Bring of Heliod's right, Heliod's. I'm sure they believe Heliod's right, but Bringer of Heliod's light. Chosen of Heliod and Archon of Condemnation. I really love all of these. All three in my spider list. Gary and Furies of the Natural Order. So not actually the Aristocrats deck I thought it would be. Almost brought Containment Seraph plus Zuhan because you can flicker it in response to the trigger, but it ended up going another way. That's fair. That's a pretty reasonable use of Containment Seraph. Yeah, flickering in response is nice, but you do still eventually reach a point where it is going to bank a leave trigger that's going to give them some value, and that could feel kind of awkward. The one thing I do like about Containment Seraph is if you can blink it enough and pick off enough things. The nice thing about Containment Seraph is that the draw is forced, so theoretically, you could deck your opponent with this. Do I think that's very likely? Oh, absolutely not. But it's possible. Craig was a dramatic stage actor before anything on TV and the big screen, and it shows a good bit. Yeah. I think he gives a lot of really good performances. I really enjoy seeing him on the screen. And Tom Cruise. I don't want to talk about my thoughts on Tom Cruise. I will just say that I'm queer, and I think that establishes my stance very firmly. Moving on, we've got Sinido Voidsinger and Illustrious Sheng Fa. We've got two instants here. We've got Hang and Erase from Reality. Also, I will just say I turned off. I like deliberately made sure to turn off the like AI summaries of the stream for people who like join into the stream, where it's like summarizes what's going on. Because I don't like it. But it is very funny for me to think about like how on earth YouTube's AI would ever try and rationalize the conversation about magic cards that don't exist, and also Daniel Craig's a better spy thriller star than Tom Cruise. It's just... And also, I don't like Tom Cruise, and my justification is I'm queer. Let's continue. Hang and Erase from Reality. Nice to see someone playing Erase from Reality. I'm surprised it's not the mono white player. In fact, I'm very surprised that like if we come up here, it is not in here for Cassia the Carefree, but it is in here for Athreos. I should have known that this wasn't an Aristocrats deck. It's Age of Stacks. Duh. I can read. Anyways, Forced Shutdown, Failed Gateway, number 4. Nurture the Future. This is the second time. This is the second time we've seen a 3-mana commander with Failed Gateway. Coda Peacock erases Tom Cruise from Reality. Yeah. I wouldn't go that far. Even the people I dislike the most on this planet, I wouldn't want to erase them from reality. I would just want them to be better people. That's the kind of person I am. I would never wish harm to anyone, no matter how terrible they are. I just want them to not be terrible. I wish it was that simple. and I know it isn't. There was a time where I couldn't fully understand it wasn't that simple, but I can always still dream and hope for things to be better and for people to be better. Anyways, let's not talk about philosophy or like worldviews. Nurture the future. That's not at all thematic. Chronicle of Extinction, Athreos' Judgment. Okay. My biggest point of grief for not playing Codename Spider and playing a deck that's not in white and black is that I could not be on Athreos' Judgment. I owe this card an apology. This card is so sweet. The deal for gain for won me one of my games against Magma Dragon, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is so sweet with Codename Spider, because it is Spider dodges the board wipe mode, the life gain and damage is really relevant, and rebuying the creature is really good with Codename Spider as well. Like the Athreos' Judgment, this is a card that's going to be on my mind for a long time, even with it rotating next month. I'm going to be thinking about this card a lot. I thinking about all of the times I could have tried to make this card work and construct it and never did. I'm going to grieve this card a lot more than I ever thought I would when it rotates next month. I'm probably going to grieve it more than I will like Path of Phoenix or Phoenix's Touch or Pull of Tycerus or Ominous Slaughter or any of the like black control tools that Theros brought us. I'm going to grieve Athreos' Judgment more because those cards got their time. This card didn't. And I am so glad Elite Wizard's bringing it. I'm glad someone identified this card as really sweet. Chromatic Rift, really good board wipe. Click, I really love here. Ominous Slaughter is just good. Fall of Trax is really good. Conqueror's Glee, I love to see here as well. This is the one card I could not find room for in Jack. This is the one card I really tried to squeeze into Jack and just couldn't find a way to make it work. Because I just felt like I wanted to keep my curve lower because of things like Skotha. And this just being 1 mana outside of Skotha's range was really unfortunate. But yeah, Conqueror's Glee is really sweet. And then Shadow Sky, also a really sweet card I've thought about trying to make work in Brawl here. And then Artifacts are Aspect of the End, very good with Athreos. Banisher Rifle, just very good in general. And Elder Soulblade, which goes and finds any of your 2-drops. And you got a lot of really good 2-drops. Sweet. Tomas, Colorless Ziv Hard Control, also known as Caliphate the Mariner. Hey, wait a minute, there's only 2 colorless lands. I do like the like Royal Balcony and Mirage Island here. 22 Island, Caliphate, 24 lands. We've got Tireless Aspirants, Demographer, Skyward Magus. Spicy. Yeah, I guess there's 22 instant sorceries for this. To make it a 3/2 flyer. Architect of the Intangible, Opulent Rough Rider, Sifleer Elder Pawn. Oh my god, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly on how Blessing of the Sea works, this is an alternate cost, which means Sifleer plus Blessing of the Sea goes crazy. Big fan of that. And then Crevitus Frostworm can do it too. Nice. Alrighty. Placated Mind, nice protection spell. Ebb and Flow is just a cantrip. Thassa's Caress can be both. Evasive Tactics is protection. Expert Blade work is just a cantrip here. I think if you just need it as a cantrip, that's fine. If you're really in on the ninjutsu plan is why I don't like it. Bring to the Limelight, just another cantrip. Forced Ejection, sure. Seafloor Treasures, yeah. Out of Sight, another protection spell. Thirst for Answers, more card draw. Election Fraud, card draw and card selection. Most of the time, it's usually going to be like presumably pledging to Tyrell twice to Surveil 2. But can go Bant and like tap something that could block Caliphate, and then can also go Grixis, could go Hazik, or Silliman was the Bant. Can go Hazik and make 2/2s with Decayed. Illuminate, good card draw. Travel through the Mystic Sea, good card draw. Long Lost Legacy. Gonna cast so many spells with Caliphate the Mariner. Good lord. Also, Long Lost Legacy, when you have Blessing of the Sea up and Covetous Frostworm in play, that's called an engine. And suddenly Skyward Magus goes from a 2-mana 3/2 flyer to killing you. Goodness gracious. Oh wait, Caliphate the Mariner may cast blue spells with mana value less than or equal to devotion to blue without paying their mana costs. Doesn't, I think, does this work with Wander? Can you Wander Tireless Aspirants for this? There's no way, right? Because Wander is an alternate casting cost, and you can't use alternate costs with alternate costs, right? We're gonna have to get a judge on this. That's sweet if it does work. There's just a lot of card draw. Oh my god, Founding of the 12 kills you. Research Grant, Collector's Item, Omen of Deception, Voyage to the Siren Sea. Oh god, I don't know how to pronounce this. Ratiocinate? We're gonna go with that. I'm not gonna say it again. Explore Wreckage, Chronicle of Precedence, Recharge, Scour All Possibilities, Parse, Harbor Mail, Walk Old Paths. So this is just Caliphate rush the Blessing of the Sea, and then, or like Caliphate, and then just like rush the Blessing, and then you can't wander with Blessing. No, okay, just making sure. That makes sense. Opulent Rough Rider seems awful here. Like this is just Surveil 1, and you're like only revealing the top card if you know it's an island and you want the island. But yeah, so then like I guess you just try and set up either Skyward Magus or like Covetous Frostworm or Sifleer, and then try and get Founding of the 12 up, and then just deck your opponent. Cool. Scary. Somebody had to bring Ephemia. PTM did. Grip Festivarium and 21 Mountains. We've got 14 creatures with Ironcliff Blaster, Red Hot Rider, Hero in the Making, Calamity Cat, Savvy Smith, Cash Thrasher, Solid Smog, Temperamental Chick, Brass Oracle, Competitive Hedonist, Audacious Rough Rider, Fabricated Anomaly, Ardor, Forefront of Freedom, and Eviv Grip Exec. All really, really good aggressive red cards. You don't really have many other permanents to add to Devotion here. Yeah, though, decent for Devotion, I guess. Yeah, like that is true for like Tireless Aspirants, Opulent Rough Rider, like building to Devotion, but like the things that you're casting are actually pretty low mana value. Like the mana value caps out at 4 for everything that isn't your Blessing. And presumably, when you're getting the Blessing online with Caliphate, you still have Caliphate in play. So that's immediately 3 Devotion right there, because the Blessing contributes Devotion in its own right. Meaning all you really need is like any 1 pip of Devotion here from any of these 7 creatures, or from Sanctum of the Two Truths, or from any of these 5 enchantments. So like once you have Caliphate, Blessing of the Sea, and one of those like 13 permanents in play, that gets you to the 4 Devotion you need to just cast everything for free, and then you're just off to the races. Beyond the creatures here, we've got Jericho and Koyos, both really good. Face of Animosity, Momentous Charge, Reply to the Call, Static Augment, all good 1 mana pump spells, tricks, just trigger Heroic on Ephemia. There's also Shock, Bleeding Out, and High Voltage. There's also Go for Gold for another targeted trick for Heroic triggers. Sorceries are Firebolt, Terminal Impact for some burn, Hone Claws is another heroic trigger, Erupt another heroic trigger, Igneous Visions for a bit of card draw, Conscript is another heroic trigger, Frag's good removal, and then enchantments are Sparks of a Revolution, Thrice Blessed Bloon, the card that is overperformed for me the most in my Ephemia testing was Temperamental Chick. Card is very good when you always have a 1-drop. Yeah, Chick always frightens me, but I feel like when you can guarantee Ephemia in the command zone, Temperamental Chick is just nightmarish. Flags on High, Shigani Manor Burns, Gift of Inspiration, and Panic. A little bummed to not see Karda's Legacy, I believe it is. It's the choose Aroas or Mogus. Yeah, Karda's Legacy. Where you can choose either Iroas to like build up your board, or Mogus once your board's sort of starting to establish. And either you just get like more bodies to go wide, or you can just ping the opponent to oblivion. Kind of bummed to not see it here, but I guess I can understand why. Cajuns, I goldfished this twice. It's probably fine. Electes, First King of Akros. I mean, yeah, Electes just kills you. Only 2 fetches. None, not the Arrows in the Weft fetch. Same reason, Gift of Inspiration is finally amazing. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Gift of Inspiration, really wanting to get a trigger the turn it comes into play, so you can either make a 1/1. I guess you can't really play the card the turn that you play Gift of Inspiration if you play it on curve, but like Gift of Inspiration makes a 1/1 immediately when you just swing with Ephemia. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So on to Cajun's deck. We've got the Electes. We've got Milan, Calamity Cat, Jorgen. Surprised to not see Jorgen in Ephemia. Was Jorgen? I'm scrolling up a bit here. I don't think it was. Was Jorgen in the Akai and Toyotomi deck? No, it was not. There was not a single 1-drop. Jorgen was the most remarkable card in my mind out of Akai and Toyotomi when I played against Magma Dragon. Because like Akai and Toyotomi swing with Jorgen, make it a 5/5. That Jorgen just becomes unremovable. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I am not generally a fan of this card. I think, like I mentioned in the patch notes video, I think this card's just not as good as Ephemia in the command zone, but I will acknowledge there are some times where this thing is not something you can kill. It's not something you can kill, it's not something you can exile. You just have to let it sit in play and find a way to keep it from ever being wandered. Which is to say, you need to specifically like collector's item it and remove it, remove its text box. That's your answer. That's your one answer to Jorgen. Or I guess like Def Deflection countering the triggered ability, but then you're not countering the Jorgen, which is awkward. Ambitious Angel. Wow, that is the goal here is to just have a 1/1 flyer that Electes can kill you with. And again, like Jorgen with Electes, scary. Here in the making, Rage Cloak Shifter, Voice of Utopia, lots of 1-drops. Seems reasonable. Amber, Temperamental Chick, Contest Coordinator, Toki, Cash Thrasher, Genotype Splicer, Narzi, Hero of the Mokar, a lot of 2-drops as well. One other 3-drop in Looming Psyhawk. And then a pair of 4s in Ardor, Forefront of Freedom, and Offset Daemon. Lots of really solid evasive and or terrifying attackers that Electes can just turn, like just overcharge. It's really great. Planeswalkers are Jericho, Crux, and Karina, all providing 2 devotion. Really makes sense. Karina, I know I have been a naysayer here, but I will say giving Vigilance and Lifelink to whatever you're targeting with Electes is really good. Punishment from Nyx, Searing Grace, and Calamitous Warcry all seem solid. Warcry is a little interesting. Doesn't kill Electes. Uh, we've got one subtype on Electies is really awkward for Warcry. Um, Human Advisor, Cat, Human Berserker, Angel Soldier Archer is nice there. Satyr Soldier, Shapeshifter Shaman. This can help fill through that condition pretty well. Human Bard, Just Weasel, Just Bird, Human Performer, Human Soldier, Human Rogue. A lot of humans overlapping. Artificer Mutant, Human Knight, Bird Construct, Human Soldier, Phoenix. Okay, so I feel like Calamitous Warcry is less about like getting that condition fulfilled and more about just needing to deal 2 to the opposing creatures. Firebolt, Ruins Awaken, and Ignite. Ruins Awaken I am surprised by, but I was also surprised by it in the Sinido deck. I guess I can see the theory. Like, worst case scenario is just going up the board. Just a couple annoying blockers. Magma Flow, Sparks of Revolution, Seal Away, Crumbling Tower, Gone Pickin', Sealing Strike. Once again, we get the Seal Away, Gone Pickin', Sealing Strike trifecta. Karda's Legacy, nice to see this at least once, especially with me talking about it in context of Ephemia. And Plush Collection. And Soul Guide Lantern as the one artifact. My graveyard deck weeps. My graveyard deck weeps, but at least when they crack Soul Guide Lantern, I get a Jack trigger from it. All Who Wanders Rogue Brew, and this is the last deck. We made it. Only took about 2 hours. All Who Wanders on Fennex Brazen Thief. So for the big boogeymen of the format, I feel like I thought of Ephemia, Phenax, and Guy Gekka as the 3 big boogeymen of the format. Only one of each, but there is one of each in the field. And there's no overlap in commanders. There's some overlap in color identity, but no 2 players are on the same commander. That's pretty exciting. I'm the only black-green player. Woo! I'm not the only player in those colors, because other people are in those colors, but they're also in other colors. Anyways, Fennex Brazen Thief here with a slightly deeper mana base here. Looks like it's mostly just more of the like utility lands, like Hollow Chamber, Hytekian, and Protean Bows are like the big ones compared to what I think is kind of becoming standard here. Aphanize Reveler, Thassa's Tide Shaper, Odonos Smuggler, Orestes Heroic Scoundrel, Post-Wef Psionic, Merciless Ruiner, Malicious Skycleaver, and Signal Inversion. These are all pretty reasonable. I'm not a believer in Signal Inversion, but I do kind of see what's going on here. I do get it. And then Skycleaver is just really good. Phovius Edi is very rude. Celeste Syndicate Pariah is very rude. Downlink Overload, Maim, Poison Strike, Turn to Nyx, Seafloor Treasures, out with the old Divine Mishap, and Isolated Misery, all pretty solid. Phenex's Judgment, Lost to Memory, Dissect Intel, Forced Shutdown, both Chronicles, Invasion's End, Ruiner's Hijacking, and Grasp of the Elements, all pretty solid here at Sorcery Speed. Ruiner's Hijacking is pretty sweet here. Not a whole lot that you would want to reanimate from your own deck, like Skycleaver or Signal Inversion, but just being like target player mills 3 cards, draw a card when you've got Phenex flipped Poison Tongued can be pretty nice. And then enchantments, we got Laystone of Ruin, Shrine to Phenex, Earthly Penchants, Omen of Deception, Omen of Slaughter, Path of Phenex, Founding of the 12, and Defect. Yeah, seems like a pretty sweet Phenex list. Phenex is the reigning champ here, so we'll see if All Who Wander can push Phenex to the back-to-back Brawl wins. But yeah, we've got 20 unique decks here, pretty open field. As always, let's talk a little bit about these round 1 matchups, just kind of cursory glance, see how things are going. So Elite Wizards on the Athreos Stacks deck versus Kumrak on Akai and Toyotomi. I think Kumrak, I think Akai and Toyotomi can just run down a lot of matchups pretty fast if you're not prepared for it. And Elite does have like some good checks, but like the removal is actually pretty scarce at the lower end of the curve. Like hang and erase from reality are really all there is. And like forced shutdown is gonna hurt a bit, not as much as getting hit by a creature buffed by Kai and Toyotomi, but this is a sorcery, so you're probably getting hit by the thing you're removing beforehand. Yeah, like I don't know. I love Atheros' Judgment, but I think a Kai and Toyotomi could just run this matchup over pretty fast. Me versus Split Moon. I'd like to be optimistic about myself, but I have no idea how this matchup's going to go. There's going to be a lot of people gaining a lot of life in this matchup. Zalvek is going to gain a lot of life for Split Moon. Jack's going to gain a lot of life from me. And this matchup might come down to attrition. Who's saying might? It's going to come down to attrition. I know well enough. And with that in mind, I am so glad Data Weaver doesn't steal and let you play cards you've stolen anymore. Oh my goodness, that is a huge advantage for me in terms of this being an attrition matchup. Though I think that might just mean that Split's going to try and kill me. So we'll see how that shakes out. Platy versus Silver. Karametra versus Gaigeka. There's 1, 2, 3, 2 really, because Sealway is not a good answer to Gaigeka. If Gaigeka's animated, it's going to be hexproof. No artifacts for illustrious Shengfa to blow up artifacts, huh? That seems like a problem. So your way of dealing with artifacts, your way of dealing with Gaigeka is Hungry Blob or have a big enough reach creature or flying creature that can block it, or just kill them. I mean, I feel like Gaigeka is going to look pretty good here. All Who Wonder versus Provocative. Phoenix is very good, but I think it is going to struggle with faster decks like Mono Green. So we'll see how that matchup shakes out. Please watch a... Prov, why do you want me to have to deal with 100 life from my opponent? Why do you want this for me? Why do you want me to get Hwacha'd? I specifically am being targeted by your wants here. I feel like you are specifically mad at me for something that you probably aren't actually mad about. I must be just having fun. No, I get it. Li on Senaido is a Bond villain versus PTM on Ephemia. I mean, I feel like the reason you go Senaido is for Ephemia, right? Like this kills Ephemia on the uptick. Pain Split buys you so much time. Like you're on so much removal, so much removal, and stuff like Ruins Awaken specifically to kind of rebuy the board. You get Failed Gateway to clean up the board against Ephemia. So I think if anything's going to get to deliver PTM a round 1 loss, it's going to be something like Senaido. But I could still see PTM absolutely fight through this, both because I think Ephemia is just really fast and really deadly, and also PTM is a pretty reliably good mono red pilot. Chips Weftheart up against Itai on Cassia. Planeswalker duel here. I could not confidently say which deck I think is more favored here, but I do think the value that Weftheart offers is a little higher than what Cassia brings to the table. So we'll see if that proves true or not. Magma Dragon on Gelthus up against Tomas on Caliphate. I think the thing that Caliphate is most afraid of is just cheap removal, and right now that like people being worried about Ephemia is going to bite Caliphate in the ass. Just because this sure does die to almost everything that Ephemia dies to, except -1/-1 effects, or like 1 damage pings, are the only time where Caliphate doesn't die to something Ephemia would. But it has a little bit of a worse time than Ephemia, because Ephemia has haste. Granted, this cares more about dealing combat damage, whereas Ephemia wants to be targeted by a bunch of things. And Tomas is on a lot of protective spells. But, you know, I think, like, just Downlink Overload or a Ruiner's Execution getting around a lot of the hexproof effects is going to do a number on Califay's momentum for Tomas. Crush on Akihiko up against Zangi on Shrines. Could go either way. I think the ninjas deck is going to have some trouble because there are some ninjas that are real limited stinkers, huh? But and also, Shrines is probably the goofiest deck in the field. No hate, full respect. Again, Shrines is one of the decks I was looking to try and build that I just didn't really settle on. So, you know, full respect for Shrines. It is one of the goofier decks in the field. I think it's a pretty good deck. There's some very good tools here. Get Your Wish is going to be huge. But I think ninjas could try and slip out from under this one. Cajun versus H Squid. We've got Electies up against June Twin Blade Master. I mean, I really love June, but Electies kills people. This has been true for the 2 years that this card's been in the format. It will remain true for the one final month that he has around. Electies kills people. I don't think I will be rooting for Electies often, but I will be unsurprised when Electies succeeds. This will forever be true. And then finally, Catalyst on Amber up against Volt Switch on Karaja. I think both of these decks are sweet. I think it could go either way again. So yeah, lots of really cool Brawl decks. I think we have representation from all 7 sets. I know we've got lots of Theros Age of Tracks. We've got Kitsuo. Chip is repping her set with Errors in the Weft. I think is that the only Errors in the Weft commander that was brought? Is Weftheart the only one? I think so. We get Cassia and we get Gelthus for Oldun. Couple Chikyu Planeswalkers getting played, and then like only one legendary from Chikyu. Catalyst, I think, the only like creature from Chikyu getting played in the command zone. No Magma Council, no Aqua Council, no none of that. Or sorry, Aqua Crew, no none of that. No Berry Masters. Kind of surprising. Very little 3-color in general. Kind of takes me by surprise. Yes, we got CYB. Oh, there's no Nyland commanders, are there? Oh wow. Yeah, there's no Nyland commanders, huh? Yeah, because I remember commenting that I felt like Zeno could work in place of Yens, but then we talked about the curve on Yens. So that's not an island commander. And then, yeah. Wow. Well, I know that Nylon is next up on the buff patch, and it's possible that that is something that gets addressed in Nylon. Kind of tuning up the legendaries in anticipation of this kind of GP next year. Because if next August is the Brawl GP, no way. My math has to be wrong on that, but I don't think it is. If next August is the Brawl GP, next August is the last month of Clicks of Nylon being in the format. That feels wrong to say out loud, but we sure are coming up on 1 year of Nylon in the format. Wow. Wild. All right. At this point, I'm kind of just rambling. We have reached the end of the decklist stream. So thank you all for tuning in, for being along for the ride. Expect my deck tech kind of going into specific roles that all of these cards are playing in a little more detail when I have that go up, probably soon. Can't give a specific, but we'll try and have it for you as soon as I can. And yeah, always fun to do these streams. I am going to stop talking for the rest of my evening and give my vocal cords a rest, because I will have probably a recording to do sometime in the next 48 hours, if I had to guess. So thank you all for watching. Wish me luck in my GP matches, and good luck to all of you who are tuned in and competing as well. And we are closing in on the set announcement. So I ask all of you, please lend me your strength, because it is going to be a very, very long week when we get that announcement for me. And I'll do my best to get through that week as quickly as I can and get that review video up as soon as I can, but it is gonna be long. Hi, Elite Wizard. Thanks for popping in. Sorry you couldn't tune in for all of it, but good to have you here, even if it's just briefly. And I will just say, while you're here before we leave, I celebrated your inclusion of Athreos' Judgment. I hyped up this card a lot. I said, I really wish I could be on this card in my deck. It might be one of the cards from Theros Age of Tracks I will miss the most in rotation. And seeing that at least someone brought it to the field has me very happy. So cheers to you on your deck, and very glad to see Athreos' Judgment. I think you're... I hope you find that you will be very happy with this card in this field. But yeah. So thanks again for everybody tuning in. This was a lot of fun, and I'm gonna go rest now. So take care, everybody, and as always, I'll see you all in the GP chat. Bye-bye!